tier.
All right, Matt, what are we thinking, man? What's your analysis, man?
So they won the division last year, 10-7, fifth
Fifth.
fifth in EPA per play last year on offense with the new offensive coordinator Liam Coen. They were .133. Pass block win rate was 68% fifth. Run block win rate was 73% sixth. So really good offensive line. Just overall gaudy offensive numbers. Their defensive EPA per play a little mid. .017, which was 17th. Pass rush win rate was 42% at 11th, and then run stop win rate was 27% at 31st. So not a good run stopping unit, even with Vita V. Baker Mayfield, I'm your hater, dude. You were tremendous last year. .209 EPA per play, fifth in the league. 52% success rate, tied for
Team
fourth.
Baker.
They had a tremendous season, and the only thing is that you couldn't stop Jaden Daniels. That was and the Lions, who won 15 games, had the same problem. So it's just the way it goes. They have a new offensive coordinator, as I mentioned, with Liam Coen going to the Jags in a very ugly divorce. And it seems Liam Coen does that. He did it to Kentucky. Being a college football fan, I know he did it to Kentucky. Josh Grizzard, don't know much about him at all. He has only been around for like 7 years. He used to play at Yale. He was a wide receivers coach with the Dolphins in 2020, then got demoted back to offensive quality control coach, and then was pass game coordinator last year, and now is offensive coordinator for the Bucs. Like, that's Josh Grizzard in a nutshell. He's 35 years old. No idea if that's going to work out. We'll talk about that more. They kept Chris Godwin, who's coming off that injury. Did he tear his Achilles, torn ACL? I can't remember what it was, but he's likely to start on the PUP list, if I had to imagine. They bring back Levante David. Hopefully he retires in the Buccaneers uniform. And then Ben Bredesen, one of their surprise landings on the offensive line, they re-signed at offensive guard. Their free agency was so tame as it gets. Only one new starter, Hassan Reddick, 1 year's $14 million. And then I threw in Charlie Heck here, swing tackle. He's going to have to play football for them because of the new news with Tristan Wirfs likely to be put on PUP lists, likely to miss the first 4 games. So keep an eye out on Charlie Heck. He might have to play left tackle for them for the first 4 games. And then their draft, Emeka Egbuka, one of the bigger surprises of the first round for me, just because I think he matches a lot of what Chris Godwin does, and I think what he would be impactful at year 1 is what Chris Godwin mirrors. So interesting there. And then I thought they got 2 good defensive backs. Ben Morrison in the second round, injury issues. He was my 30th overall player. And then Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State, feisty nickel, 61st player. And then I threw in David Walker out of Central Arkansas in round 4. Their departures, again, very tame offseason. Robert Hainsey, their former starting center, follows Liam Coen to the Jaguars. He played 8% of the snaps last year. And then Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, former first-round pick out of UW, just missed. It's a miss. And so they let him walk this year, and like I said, they replenished it with Hassan Reddick. Season outlook question pretty easily. Does the third OC in 3 years give them a downtick in production or continue to be playoff team productive? Josh Grizzard, the new offensive coordinator, 0 play calling experience. Canales put together a top 10 offense. He leaves to become a head coach. Liam Coen puts together a top 5 offense, leaves to be a head coach. Grizzard doesn't seem to have the pedigree to follow in those steps after 1 year, but with the offense, is it too good and constructed too well to fail, no matter who the caller is? And I think that's what they're trying to achieve. They're just trying to keep that thing go down the pike. And then no new additional starters in 2025, unless how you speak about Egbuka. But they have Jalen McMillan, who I like. They have Trey Palmer, who's there as like a slot gadget guy. Sterling Shepard. And then like nothing is changing except the guy holding the play sheet. So it's interesting because it's weird to see it go from Canales to Coen and get more productive. It can't theoretically get more productive in 2025. So if that downtick happens, does it bring you to a place where you're still sustainable at Dave Canales' level at, 10th, more so than kind of 18th, something like that. And so yeah, that's which also good for them. They sit in a pretty nice division where you're going to get 6 games against, 3 defenses that you should feast on, and you should be one of the best offenses in those games. So
Absolutely. I mean, I talked about it. Again, you could talk about it for every single team. And of all divisions to cover in one episode, this is probably the division you can get away with talking about the quarterback for every single team when it comes to season outlook questions. But I mean, so much of that offensive coordinator change is going to really show how much of it is Baker Mayfield, because I too am not much of a Baker Mayfield believer as much as Ryan is. And if they continue to have that good season, you can probably get to a point and say, well, this is probably Baker that's doing the majority of it, versus if they kind of tick back down to where it was at, and you can say, well, maybe Liam and Coen were the ones that were kind of the architect of this offense, and he was kind of just the beneficiary of it all. So it'll be really interesting to see what people's kind of thoughts on Baker is at the end of the season. So,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, obviously, my guy Emeka Egbuka making it, falling to them. It's a fun one to kind of look at. So let's go ahead and dive in here. Now, we have the 3 rows. However, it's a little bit weird because
yeah, it was a weird
in...
picture to find. This was the best one I could find. So like the preseason are the first 3 games. Don't look at those. Look at the Falcons one, the kind of cream white. Look at those. So
yeah. So should we? We'll just do the top row just to start, just to keep it simple. So obviously, first 3 preseason, like Matt said. So I'm gonna have them. I'm gonna have them beat the Falcons. No, I'm gonna have them lose to the Falcons week 1. I'll have them beat the Texans, beat the Jets, and then lose to the Eagles to start 2-2 for the first 4 weeks. Ben?
Yes, I mean it is at it is at the Falcons, so I will have the Falcons winning that one. They'll lose. And then, like Ryan, I actually think the Texans are going to be good. I'm not a Texans hater. So I will also have the Texans win this one. But I do think they win the next 2 games in the Jets and the Eagles. I think they're just a flat-out better team than the Jets. And then if you guys listened to the episode last week, I don't know what Todd Bowles is doing, but man, does he have Jalen Hurts' number. He seems to always win these games. So I do have them starting out 2-2, though.
yeah, I have them losing the Falcons, and then I have them rattling off 3 straight wins against Houston on Monday Night Football, against the Jets, and then against Philadelphia. So
Philly's got to lose at least a couple times this season, right?
I mean, you were the high guy. I don't know if you had the chance to catch it. You were the high man on Philly last week.
I had them 12-5.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
I'll find it now.
Hey, that's all right. So for the middle row, I have them beating the Seahawks. I'm going to go with them losing to the 40. No, I'll have them beating the 49ers. Did I say losing the Seahawks? I said losing, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's losing.
Sorry, I just sneezed. Like I'm telling you, dude, I got lightheaded. It was. I did not. I don't know what's going on.
You're going crazy.
I'm going nuts. Okay, so losing the Seahawks, beating the Niners, beating the Lions, beating the Saints. So 5. What's that? 5-3 now going into the bye.
Okay. Yeah, I have them beating the Seahawks, losing to both the Niners and Lions. And then, sorry, Matt, I do have them beating the Saints. So I have them with 4 wins and 4 losses, and even 500 going into the bye.
Yeah, I have them losing their next 3 after winning those 3 on the top row. Losing at Seattle, I think that's an awful trip to make. I think they lose to San Francisco, and then they lose to Detroit on Monday Night Football. And then I echo your guys' belief. I do believe they beat the Saints. Head into the bye 4-4. We get to talk all about that, because it's a national primetime game. They'll be 3-4. Everybody's going to be spiraling what's going on in Tampa Bay, and then they're going to respond by beating the hell out of my Saints. So they'll be fun.
I will have them. Let's see. Wait a minute. Yeah. So I only went to the bye, right? So I have the Patriots. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'm just gonna round off this middle row, and then I'll do the bottom one.
Do the next 4. Do all the way to the Saints.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. So I have them beating the Patriots, losing to the Bills, losing to the Rams, beating the Cardinals, beating the Saints. That was 5.
But you're good.
My bad.
This is the way we got to do it. 4, and then you got to sprinkle 5 in there somewhere.
5, and then it's good. We like it.
Damn,
I have them
games.
beating the Patriots, losing to both the Bills and Rams, but then winning the next 2 following against both the Cardinals and Saints, sweeping the Saints. Again, I apologize, Matt.
Okay, throw that in there. I have them beating the Patriots. I have them losing to the Bills. I have them beating the Rams. I have them beating the Cardinals, and I have them losing to the Saints.
Oh,
and
wait.
then I'm going to have...
Sweeping the Saints, Matt? Sweeping? Sorry. Anyways.
No, I have them losing to the Saints.
Oh, losing to the Saints. Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Nothing.
And then I have them actually winning out with the exception of one of the Panthers games. So that has them at 11 wins for me.
Okay. I have them winning out with the exception of the Dolphins game. So I actually have them picking up both games against the Panthers as well. I just think they're just outright a better team, both on the offense and defense than the Panthers. So yeah, I have them winning 3 of those final 4 games. I have them just right behind Ryan at 10-7 for me. So same exact record that they were last year.
Yeah, they'll win on Thursday night against Falcons. They'll win at Carolina. They'll win at Miami. They'll lose to Carolina in the Week 18 game because they have to get to 10-7. All right, I had to put them at 10-7
Yes.
because that's what they continue to be. But it continues to be enough to win the division. Their over/under is set at 9.5 plus 110 right now. You can get plus money on this team winning 10 games. I kind of like that. Looking at the schedule and especially this division, minus 130 to the under, and then their division odds are the exact same, plus 110. So Vegas is viewing it as this is the number to get to. If you get to 10, you're gonna win it. I like those odds. I probably doing research for this division, I'd probably put a minus by the season start to win this division again. Even with all of the offensive, coordinator differences and even the Godwin injury, I think they have the best quarterback by far, and I think they have the most, maybe not like best defense, but just overall most complete defense, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where I'm at with the Buccaneers, and I think you guys also having them win double-digit games see the same as I.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think division winners, not to spoil anything, we're gonna get to the other team that people argue that would be the next
Do we have
up.
a take on this team? Is there a take to have on this team?
Mike Evans. Yeah, you know what? Mike Evans isn't getting 1,000 yards this season. That's my
Look
thing.
at that.
Screw your stupid 1,000 yards a second.
Dude.
I hate it.
He's good.
How much is like Bucca ending up with?
Like 500, 600.
Is there an over/under for Egbuka?
I can find it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Stall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Egbuka, good. Chris Godwin, good. Hurt.
And again, it'll be interesting too with the start of the season, with both Godwin and Wirfs most likely being on the PUP list. Seeing the start of that season. I mean, you saw Matt kind of talk about it when he kind of went through his games. The start of the season with those injuries is really going to play a big factor. Can they stay afloat in the passing game because of the loss of the weapon and the loss of Tristan Wirfs and try to stay afloat until they get those guys back. Because if not, it can kind of spiral them downhill, again, considering this division and how chaotic it can become.
Yeah.
So
They do not have Igbokwe listed. So that they kind of view my lens of like, is he a starter week 1? Maybe not. But my take would be I'm all in on Bucky Irving, which also he had 1,500 scrimmage yards last year. He finished 6th in Rookie of the Year voting, which is just
he wasn't even the starting, like the bell cow back for the first half of the season. He still finished with 1,500. That's crazy.
And it's you look at Daniels, of course, Bowers, Bo, Thomas, and Neighbors were the guys ahead of him. I don't think there's a guy wrong ahead of him, but it's just the way that it shakes out.
Guys, we went to a phenomenal draft, by the way. That this is gonna go down as one of the most historical draft classes of all time, and we were there. I
think it could.
That's pretty cool.
But for Bucky specifically, I think he finishes as a top 5 fantasy running back. That's my take. Yes. That's my take with him. I don't know how to get so hot that I'm too far into the Stephen A territory where I'm saying things that I don't believe, but I think Bucky Irving could have another year where it's behind this offensive line, they lean into him even more because and kind of phase out some of the Rachaad White stuff. Even if I was a believer then, not anymore. I think he could really catapult into some high ground in the fantasy game specifically.
Agreed.